So the text I just read is read in churches that observe liturgical calendars on Ash Wednesday, pretty much across the board. If you use the Revised Common Lectionary, which we do, we get prescribed readings for each day, which I can, of course, deviate from if I so choose, but we read these readings nonetheless. Because they speak. They speak to the day, and they always speak to our lives. They always have something to say. And in the text I just read, I made a translation. Because in the text, it has Jesus criticizing the religious people of his day, who use lofty words, who do things to be seen by others. And it doesn't make sense in a Christian context then to say synagogue. Because in this context, he's talking about the church. He's talking about the church on TV. He's talking about the people with their hands out all the time, asking for money, doing this, doing that. Do you see me? Do you see me? So I can get more money. Or more airtime. Or more people to come to church. And so I translated that text because that text doesn't mean anything if I say synagogue. But if I say church, I have a feeling that some people here are like, huh? What? And it's really, really different when the word speaks directly to you. Instead of some 2,000 years ago people. Or, heaven forbid, to our neighbors who got nothing to do with what's going on in the church, like our Jewish siblings, right? So, I mean, it makes sense to say church. And what he's saying here is simple. He says, when you give alms, when you give to the poor, don't do it so that your left hand knows what your right hand is doing. That is to say, come in here, right? And say, guess what? I graduated. I'm not in elementary school Christian anymore. I'm in high school. I'm giving a ton of money to these folks. Look at me. Don't you want to be like me? Happy. Beloved by God, righteous beyond all measure. I mean, that's Jesus saying that's not why we do this, right? We don't give to the poor to let everybody know how great we are. And I know a lot of people like that. And then he says, when you pray, and everybody's guilty of this, right? And some people are good at it, right? It's called rhetoric and those things. But when you pray, don't use words where people don't even know what you're talking about. Oh wow, I should have heard this guy speak. What did he say? I don't know. It sounded good though. See, that guy, he studied something somewhere, I think. He's saying, speak. And in the text between what we don't get today is after he says pray in words that people understand, don't measure your words when you pray, he gives you the Lord's Prayer. So our prescribed reading drops that, which is simple, right? Abba, Father. I mean, that's a transliteration of an Aramaic word. And the Abba is the sound of a baby. Ba, ba, ba. Jesus is saying, call on God like a baby calls on its parent. That's how simple. God, I need you. Where are you? Help me. I need bread. I need forgiveness. I need to remember how to forgive. Like straightforward stuff. Not Shakespeare. Although Shakespeare can do it well, right? I mean, I'm not against Shakespeare. But... And then, he says, he goes on and says, where your treasure is, right? Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Straightforward stuff. The main message here, essentially, is don't do things for the wrong reasons. Right? You don't pray for others so that people say, wow, you can really pray. You don't give to others so people can say, wow, that person's really generous. Yes. And then, don't do bad things for good reasons, right? That's another thing. I mean, you can take it a couple different ways, but don't do things for the wrong reasons. Yes. You push that message, and what you get, essentially, is this. You have one person, right, who holds himself out to be holy and righteous and perfect. The person who shows up at church, I know people probably curse when they're outside the church, but inside the church, right? But that's just the beginning of it. There's a whole culture of what you don't bring into the church, what you don't bring into work. And we talk all about free speech. Yeah, you can say whatever you want in your job until you get fired. Really? All right, and so here we are, we're one person, holding ourselves out to be something. Right. And then when we go home, in secret. You know, if there's a censorship beat going on at home, you know, and that's just what's coming out of our mouth, but in our hearts, too, of course. You know. So there's two people, Jesus, in church. There's the public person, who we hold ourselves out to be, and the private person, who we don't want anyone to see. And I'll tell you, I wish I heard this. You know, when I went to seminary, you know, a long time ago now. It wasn't that long. It was a long time ago. Long enough ago. I had less gray hair. That's what I'm supposed to say, right? I went to seminary, and I had just gone through a divorce. I was a mess. I had asked my home pastor, I'm like, Pastor, do they even take people like me in seminary? Yeah, really? I feel this calling, but I don't know. And he's like, oh yeah, give me a break. If that's the worst you've done. But I went, and if you've been through a divorce, you know how shameful it can be, right? Maybe. It was for me. I grew up Roman Catholic, so I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that send shame my way coming from the Catholic Church, you know, and so that's one. But I felt really bad about it. And so I went to seminary, and I didn't tell anybody for like 7 months. 7 months. I sat there and I talked about things, my past, all this stuff. I never once talked about this disastrous relationship which almost put me over the edge. Financially, mentally, depression. Because I didn't want anybody to know. You know, because I thought, you know, like, and there's some crazy stuff that happened in seminary. There's some crazy people that get kicked out of seminary. So I'll just say that and leave that there. People don't, you know, we started with like 60, we ended with like 25. So, you know, there was a weaning process. But I thought people that were doing much worse stuff than me were better than I was. You know, didn't tell anyone. Until finally one night I told somebody, and, you know, I was like, listen, you know, I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to believe they even let me in this place. You know, and they were like, you know, did you go to jail for it? And I was like, no. Well, did you know, off somebody and not tell anybody about it? You know, like, did not tell the bishop? Like, you know, I really built it up. Like, this is going to be huge. And I was like, I was in this relationship. I thought I was in love. I got married for all the wrong reasons. And it ended up to be a shipwreck. And, you know, house fire sale, sold all my stuff, went to seminary, lived in a single apartment. And they were like, yeah. So what? You know? And it felt good to bring into alignment, you know, who I was. Because then I could say I could go to church every week. I could confess it. I could be like, God, you know, I'm sorry. You know, it just didn't work out. I tried. You know, I really tried, and I really failed. Even better than trying. You know, and the beautiful thing about it wasn't until I told somebody else that I actually felt like God actually forgave me. Now you know me, you see me, I'm with you, we can be together for real. So don't do things for the wrong reasons. Don't be somebody you're not, at the expense of actually experiencing God right here and now. You can say be real, you can say be who you are, you know, be the truth that's in you, all that stuff. It doesn't matter how you say it, it doesn't matter. The fact is that when Jesus says do things in secret, that person whom God loves, that God who hears your confessions every week that no one else knows, is saying, tell somebody. Be who you are. Tell the truth. Risk being who you are. That's a risk. It's dangerous. And some people go their whole lives never saying who they are, where they're from, what they've done. And so part of that's about incarnation, right? You know, Jesus became incarnate as a human being, and then we as the church represent Jesus in this world. I mean, that's why there's a power to one-on-one confession, even though we don't do it a lot, you know, these days. But there's a power to it. You're actually telling another human being, and they're saying, well, okay, God forgives you for this. You know, and that's powerful. That's
Amen.
Because how this aligns with all this stuff with Ash Wednesday is that secret you, that whoever you are behind closed doors, that person you want to be but you never can, we all wear that on our foreheads.
Right.
Right? It's a confession without words.
Yes.
And the mistake we make is that we came here to get ashes put on our forehead.
Yes.
That's not why we came here tonight. We got here tonight to be told that we are dust. We are those ashes. Just a matter of time.
Right.
Just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we waiting for? As a people, as a church, as a spiritual person, whatever you are, what are we waiting for to be who we are to this world so we can say, I've been forgiven, and look how big of a mess I am. Do you think you can too? And that's what this is about. That's what Lent is about. It's about a journey. We're supposed to start one place and end somewhere else, or at least start in the same place, begin and end in the same place, but have this crazy thing that gets us right back to where we started. And then, as they say, after you've traveled many miles, you can finally examine the beginning for the first time and rightly again. You go to the same place after going somewhere, you're different when you get there. And that's what this Ash Wednesday is. It's about saying we're a broken people. You wear that cross on your head for a day. I mean, short story. Short story. I know we're getting on, right? All right, so this afternoon we had a service at noon. At noon, I was wearing my black clericals. I have 4 kids. That didn't make it very long in my life today. So I had to get changed. But when I got my ash on my head, I'm going to shave today. I shaved up nice and clean. I got a haircut today. It's Lent, it's like I'm doing this. I'm getting high and tight, clean up the face, look presentable, and then talk about holding yourself out in church. There you go. And so I show up at the barber shop, and I got a guy I never met before, and he's like, having clericals on the big ashen cross on my forehead, and after I could not convince him that it was a bad makeup day, he's like, wait a minute, is it Ash Wednesday day? I'm like, yeah. He's like, wait, you're a pastor or something, right? I'm like, yeah. I had a collar on, I was sitting there, and this is a guy who's like got clippers and a buzzer ready to go, so you got to be careful what you say here. And we had an amazing conversation about God. I mean, as deep as it ever gets. In this place, they're like, he's like, hey man, you want a whiskey? Like they serve whiskey at my barbershop. So cool place. I passed, but it could have been like that. It could have gone like that. And I think that's part of it, right? I mean, I get it because if I'm wearing clericals, people come up to you and they tell you all sorts of crazy stuff. But today, with the cross on our heads, when we look around the room after we get it, we're saying we're all the same. We got stories to tell that you haven't heard. And no matter how bad the story, what does Jesus tell us to do? Forgive. Right? Like this is the place where we're supposed to be real. Not Sunday's best, not put on your happy face. This is the real place. This is the sanctuary. That's why they call it that. You don't come here to be the best person you ever were. You come here to be your worst.
Yes.
That's Ash Wednesday. That's Lent. That's the point. And there's something about that cross and the humility that comes with it that transforms. Because it's a deep recognition that ash on your head or not, we're all broken people. We're all in need of forgiveness. We're all in need of love. Doesn't matter where you're from. God, it doesn't even matter what God you worship. We're all God's children. That's powerful stuff. I think that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. Well, I know I'm a pastor, so I got it. But it's powerful stuff. So let's give thanks to God for this. Because it's a day in the church's life where we get to tell the truth. Dust. That's who we are. And we get to be reminded of it by putting an ash cross on the forehead. Amen?